Hello, my name is Barry. I'd like to welcome you to another video from Christianity Explained. Alright, I guess you can thank Facebook and Hawthorne honestly to create story ideas. And here's the thrust that God is quite capable of using women to do some very incredible things. That's the thing. And especially leadership. Or you could say leadership when I tell you the first story. Alright, at this point, you should see a scripture reference to 1 Samuel chapter 25. The story is about David and Abigail. Now, I've read it in the past, didn't give too much thought. But one day a friend opened his mouth and said, "Oh, I don't know why the Lord wants me to do a story on David and Abigail. Boring." Well, I reread it and go, what the heck? Later, the name came up again, and this was for a woman who was to lead the house of prayer. She was an intercessor, and this woman is a very passionate prayer. She knows how to go after, very gentle, merciful, all that fun stuff, and courageous too. So what does that have to do with the whole idea of God using women to do incredible things? Well, I thought you probably never read that story. I don't think there's too many sermons being given or whatever. As I pointed out in the description, it's long. So I'll give you an abbreviated paraphrase version. At the time, David, who would eventually become king and replace King Saul, was on the run. He was on the run from Saul because he was jealous and wanted to kill him. Good reason. Along with David, he had about 300, 400 men. I'm not sure exactly how many, but he had a huge army of guys. And these guys weren't nice, sweet, wonderful choir boys. Nah! No. More like get a bunch of biker dudes who look like they're ready to rumble. That's how bad. These were like the Green Beret, the Marine. And they were not sweet and wonderful. These guys were in trouble or whatever. And David was able to train these guys to be mighty men, or powerful fighting men to fight for him and to stand up to a lot of the raiders that were plaguing that area at that time. All right? Well, one of the things mercenaries did, especially in those days, is they would hire themselves out. In this case, there was a fella named Nabal, Nabal, and he apparently was very rich. He had a huge estate that was centered in a valley somewhere, and he employed a bunch of shepherds and people to tend these thousands of sheep and goats. Okay? And what David's men did, they offered themselves as protection. They were like a wall. Like if anybody came in, they had to deal with David's men. So the shepherds would be unmolested, no problem. And they knew, and they repaid their act of kindness and that. Well, one day, something came up, and David said, "Hey, let's go." He sent a couple of people to Nabal and to talk with them, And they would say, hey, talk with your men. They'll tell you how we treated them with kindness, respect. We were this and all that. Abel? Well, this guy was very, slowly is the way they said it, obnoxious. Uh, he didn't give a crap about anything. And I don't know how else to describe him, but he was not a nice guy at all. And he was apparently mean-spirited. And he treated David's men, two young men, very roughly, unkindly. And because of the bad treatment, David said, wait a minute, you know what? We did this. We sacrificed our time, put our lives at risk for this guy. We were like the military that was protecting these people. And we got, they were angry, upset, and they were like ready to go in and rumble and wipe out that entire valley of people. So what did Abigail have to do? Well, she was the unfortunate wife of this guy. She was also very beautiful, and Scripture said she was intelligent and a very smart and wise woman. She was also very courageous. She was given the report by some of the shepherds, the servants, who told her what was going on. And what did she do? Well, she doesn't panic, but she gets some supplies, some food, or whatever that was supposed to be payment to David's men and his men. She gets whatever steeds, donkeys, or whatever, and she hightailed it to meet David before they arrived to slaughter everybody. And they were going to slaughter! I mean, yike! It was more like, this brave, courageous lady didn't go charging in to save that entire valley of people. I mean, think about this. She's by herself. She might have had one or two servants, but that was it. And she was by herself. A woman who was probably not trained in military. And yet, she does the kind of thing that you would expect from the Xena warrior princess show. She doesn't kick butt. No, she goes in and stops these guys from doing a horrendous thing and killing a whole bunch of innocent persons, all because of one, of a fellow. And that is boldness. That's bold. That takes balls to do that. And she went up and she persuaded, asked David to forgive, and it's incredible. I was like, wow, this is one courageous lady. No wonder David listened to what she had to say. She interceded. And know what? That's what an intercessor does. They step in the gap, stand in the gap, and they intercede on behalf of others and asking for mercy, grace, or whatever it is. And now this lady could have ran. And by the way, here's something else that you probably don't think about today, especially if you're in America. That woman could have easily have been slaughtered, raped, all kinds of hideous things. Remember, these guys were pissed. They were ready to kill. But this woman courageously went up and did this. Think about that. Think seriously, like, oh, wow. But God was definitely on her side. Definitely. And oh man, her husband didn't know. He didn't even give a crap. In fact, he did tell him. Oh, and he died later. Probably from his own drinking, who knows what. See, she persuaded David and men to let God deal with it, not him. Otherwise, in their anger, they were going to kill all the innocent people as well as the one guilty person. Who knows? I don't know if she saved 20 or 100 people. And those weren't just a bunch of guys. No, these were families as well that she saved. Okay? And my friend called that boring. Like, did you actually read? That God is able to use. And she acted like a leader because she stepped up to the plate, and she proceeded to do something about the problem. She led. That was definitely an example of a godly woman. Okay. And I want to share another story, which you will see right about now, and that is from 2 Samuel chapter 20. At that time, David was already established. He just had a rebellion from his son, Absalom, and now he got this other guy ready. He had caused trouble and headache. Joab goes after this guy who was a troublemaker, and he definitely would have caused it if given a chance, and ready to lay siege on this one city where the guy was hiding. Now, you would think, okay, send out the leader, whoever it is. Well, guess who the leader was? It was a woman, not a guy, a woman, who identified herself. And obviously, Joab knew that she was a leader because she was acting in the role. She didn't say, I'm speaking in behalf of, or anything. He just said, hey, this is who I am. And she spoke with authority. Talked to Joab, find out, okay, why are you doing this? Oh, okay. She told him, yeah, I'll take care of that right now for you. Boom. This guy, the troublemaker's head was thrown out over the wall. And that was it. This, again, was a leader. I'm sure there were other leaders, both men and women, but obviously God doesn't have a problem, and neither did the ancient Israelites of old. I could also go on with Deborah and others. Heck, there was actually a scripture I came across. Oh yes, I think it was Josiah or something. He was shown the book of the law and realized, and they needed counsel. They went to talk to a prophetess, a woman prophet, to inquire of the Lord. Okay. Apparently they didn't, and God had no problem. Wow. Now, some of you might say, well, oh, that was the Old Testament. Oh, things change. Oh, that's funny. We love to say God is the same, and He has said, I am the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. If God the Father is saying, I am the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, then what the heck makes you think something changed? Yes, women do need, according to Scripture, all of men, yes. But that doesn't mean you can't have a woman leading. All right? I know what the Scripture said, but I also recognize when God will use it. But I get a little frustrated when I see people pick favorite scriptures rather than pick out the whole counsel of God. There's another one, which I may add here. Let's see. It's in Joel, and Peter actually quotes it in Acts chapter 2, that in those days I will pour out my spirit on your sons and daughters, and they shall prophesy. Oh, that means women will be prophesying along with the men. And yet there were women teachers who, the whole church didn't seem to have a problem when it's needed to have a woman doing some teaching. Yes, it is true. I do have a need where I get the male teacher, but that doesn't mean I can't run into a lady. Because the Father had used someone like Joyce Meyer to speak into my life when I actually needed it. Well, there really weren't anybody at the time. I'm going to have to come up with a new video later and talk about the importance of getting the whole counsel of God and not just cherry pick it, because it is that. You want to hear more of these kind of things? I love to hear from you. And I'll probably be asking this question again in the future. All right. I want to thank you for your time. And I will see you when I see you.